Hi everyone, welcome to Dropkick DiSKussions. Today I'm joined by the one of the sport champion, the current NGW undisputed champion, Justin Sysum. How's it going today, Justin?
I'm good, Gary. How are you?
Yeah, man, can't complain at all. So, like I said there, you're the current World of the Sport champion. For me, World of the Sport, it's just, when you mention British wrestling, it's probably the first thing that actually comes to mind. It's just, for me, one of the biggest promotions that is in the world, but for Britain in particular, it's just something else. I had a pretty big run from 1965 to 1985, disappeared for a little bit, and now it's back. You're essentially the face of the promotion right now. How much of an honour is that, just for you to be holding the top title on the promotion?
Yeah, it's a huge honour. I was born in 1985, so
yeah.
So I never actually got a chance to kind of watch as a spectator growing up. I obviously saw footage of it, but yeah, to be trusted to hold the championship is a real big privilege and an honour. It's not just one person's decision. There's a number of people that sort of made the decision to push me, and I sort of have to thank those people just for having faith in me and knowing that I was going to do a good job and represent the company well, which I think I have and hopefully will do in the future if things continue, which at the moment is it's all up in the air really. We're kind of working on trying to get a second season and a second live tour. Because the live tour actually was probably my favourite part of everything. Being able to see the people that watched it on telly for those 10 weeks last summer and have them come out and watch us and realise that the show we put on live is actually 10 times better than what you'll see, on a telly.
Yeah, definitely, man. And that was actually going to be my next question. Can we see anything in the future? Do you think a next season is on the horizon, or is it just a waiting game?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. Every time I inquire or someone gives you some information, either from ITV or from some of the other investors, it's always that discussions are still taking place. Yeah. So it's definitely there's still potential there, but at the moment, nothing is on the cards.
Yeah.
So I know just as much as probably everybody else, really.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the phone call. Yeah.
Yeah, here's hoping, because I think, like, for me, on the slot it was in on ITV, it could compete with the best of them. NXT UK isn't on broadcast television yet. AEW is not yet confirmed. Here's hoping, man. And it means we get to see more moments, like my favourite moment in World of the Sport history right now. Again, I wasn't born by 1985, so I don't remember much else. But for me, the Bodyslamming Crater was just one of those moments that you can't get it out of your mind. The second you see it, it's like, I need to watch that again. Is that the most difficult thing physically, like, you've had to do in the ring, or how do you even come about doing something like that?
Yeah, it was one of my favourite moments. It's actually my pinned tweet on Twitter. Yeah. Just because it's like the best thing I think I've done. Like, I can flip around, I can do some cool stuff myself, but that's just me. So when you can combine someone who weighs 36 stone and after doing a load of flips, show a feat of strength as well, because that's actually my background is strength training. I was I was a hammer thrower for a long period, trying to sort of make it professionally in athletics. So it involved a lot of powerlifting, Olympic lifting, squats, deadlifts, ridiculous weights. So given the opportunity to have a go at picking him up, I was never going to shy away from that. Yeah, I mean, and it looks impressive. It definitely looks. I say it looks easier than what it felt, because it didn't feel easy. When I watched the video back, I was like, "No, I got him over," And then, the reaction. I love just watching the people behind me in the crowd just be, what the hell just happened? It was wicked.
Yeah. My favourite thing about it's actually your reaction. That was a bit that just the 2 seconds after you've got him planted, your reaction is amazing. But yeah, you mentioned there about the hammer throwing. For anyone that's unfamiliar with your ring attire, I think it's one of my favourite bits of ring gear on the planet. Just you've got the armour, the cape, somewhere between Roman gladiator and superhero. What was the actual inspiration for it? Was it your hammer throwing, or was there something completely wildly out there?
No, it's like a gentle progression When I first started, I wore a singlet and I had long hair. Then I moved to like trunks and long hair and a big red cape. I was kind of like just pretending to be Thor, is what was happening. And then he had his haircut, I had my haircut at the same sort of time. So it was like, why don't we just continue this? To kind of keep the superhero thing going, but maybe move a little bit away from like copy someone like Thor. And I just call myself the superhuman. So it's like a generic superhero, just kind of, you know, standing up for what's right, and I can move well, you know. So that cape was actually something that ITV, the costume department at ITV, developed the new one.
Right.
They originally had a kind of gladiator look in mind, and I tried to steer him away from it because a friend of mine, Eddie Ryan, he has that sort of the Lionheart. He has that kind of gimmick already, and I didn't want to step on anyone's toes. So I said, I like the leather, but let's go for a more superhuman cape, superhero cape than like a Roman gladiator cloak. So I pushed towards that direction, and then I just try and like, match my moveset to superhero. So plenty of diving, a big spear from the outside in, the super spear, nice spinny moves, and what used to be called the Thor 50 splash. Thor 50 splash. So it's all it's just trying to be a superhero. You know, it's every kid's dream.
Yeah, definitely, man. And you mentioned there about the long hair. Some people might have actually seen you recently with the long hair and the Barclaycard advert.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Oh, that was great. It's so I'm trying to kind of weasel my way into acting and stunts as well as professional wrestling. So I have an acting agent, and he gave me a call about a month ago, and he was like, I've got you an audition. It's as a wrestler, so just turn up, bring a kit with you. And but I was on tour with NGW doing, so I couldn't make the audition. So instead I sent a self-tape through, it's just what we're doing now, but introducing myself and doing the lines or whatever. And then a few days later I got the call back. So I had to skip out on one of the NGW shows to go down to London to audition, and the director was in the room, and there was a bunch of us, loads of guys I knew from the circuit.
Yeah.
And it was just basically just show us what you've got. I ended up sticking around and helping them out with the actresses that were coming in for the audition, just sort of running through some choreography to see how they moved, how they could handle it. Because as you'll see in the advert, the woman Lucy, who plays Karen, or the Karen, she was amazing. She was unbelievable. Greg Burridge, who was there as the like the fight coordinator, stunt coordinator role. He runs Lucha Britannia. He couldn't believe how good she was and how easily she picked stuff up. So it was great for me. And the other wrestler involved was Ed Gamester, who's a really good friend of mine and a strongman athlete as well as a wrestler. So we got to have so much fun in Serbia for a week, which is an absolute hidden gem. I'd never been, I'd never heard anything about it really. And it was a great country, beautiful people, great people, and it was really cheap too. So it was great. We were eating out and having a blast. Yeah, it was great. It was really cool, and it's on telly everywhere at the moment, and in the cinemas and things. So yeah, it's really cool to see it.
Yeah,
which is what you were alluding to.
Yeah. Well, I watched it and I'm like, I recognise that guy. He's like, wait a minute, that's Justin Sysum. It's like insane. So yeah, like you said, or like we've said, you're currently the World of Sport champion, NGW Undisputed champion. For me, before that, I think championships, you know, they are amazing. Obviously, it's a pinnacle of your career holding a belt. But even for you just starting out in wrestling, you've already beaten so many odds just because you've said before you suffer from ulcerative colitis. Right. How difficult is it getting over or not even getting over, because it's not something you can get over, but managing such a condition and being able to perform in the ring, even just being able to keep your body in the shape it's in, how much of a challenge is that?
Yeah, it's really hard to judge things being good and bad because time always changes. So something that initially is a terrible thing like ulcerative colitis, a real hard thing to manage, turns out to actually be a blessing in disguise over time, because in terms of my physique, I have to be very careful with what I eat because it can affect my symptoms pretty badly. So actually it's led me down a pretty good path on being healthy, which I definitely wasn't on before. Part of the reason why I think I probably got diagnosed with or the symptoms started. So as much as it's pain in the backside, literally and figuratively, it's actually been pretty good for physique. It can impact a lot of things. Travel, and I know we travel a lot with wrestling, and so what I actually ended up doing was building an off-grid camper van with a shower and a toilet in. So wherever I go, especially with touring, I can pull over anywhere. I can use the toilet whenever I need to on the journeys, and also like stay overnight in places if I'm tired. So yeah, colitis, I mean, I don't want to go into too much detail. If the viewers want to, they can Google it and find out what it is. It's basically frequency and urgency of bowel movements, and that's just hard to live with. But I don't think it should stop anybody from being able to live the life they want to live. You've just got to maybe go about it differently, like build a camper van, which means you've always got a toilet with you, or let your all the staff at the venue know that, hey, if I don't come out during my entrance music, the reason is I'm on the toilet.
Yeah.
And that's happened before. It's just one of those things. Dave Mastiff did it once for me in one of the Haven holiday resorts back in the day. Like, he knew where I was, so he just started cutting a promo on the mic. And another guy, Sam Buzzsaw Bronson, did the same for me at another event. The guys are always good. Everybody knows. I used to sort of keep it a secret, but honestly, telling people is the best thing. Everybody knows. Everybody asks if I need the lube before they go and use it. It's it's great. So the people have been wonderful, and so far it hasn't stopped me doing anything I want to do. It's just made it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question, just leading on from that. For me, there are certain things that transcend the importance of wrestling and anything really. For you, you said it was maybe difficult to speak out about it at the start, but obviously it's made everything a whole lot better. Do you feel like that's maybe a pressure that even not just with conditions like ulcerative colitis, with anything really, speaking out about things seems to just make them better, and a problem halved is a problem shared? Do you feel like it was a pressure on you to speak out about it to begin with, or is that a pressure relieved that you get to just be like, man, if I reach one person with ulcerative colitis as a kid, even if they're not a wrestling fan, maybe one will become a wrestling fan, or they'll just be more open about their condition?
Yeah. No, honestly, the reason why I don't think I wanted to speak about it early was because of career opportunities. Like, obviously I was going for a couple of WWE tryouts and things like that, and honestly, I just didn't want them to know that I had it, because I didn't want them to think, oh, he's good, but he's a liability, with things. I didn't know whether or not they'd look at it as a positive or a negative, because they may also look at it like, hey, he's a spokesperson. Yeah, it'd be good to have him, and good for people to know that you can live with these conditions and just get on with it, So that was the real reason at the start, and then I kind of just thought, you know what, screw it, it's fine. Just let people know. It's important that people know that there are people like me out there who just have a disability, but it's not visible. And I think it's an important thing for people to understand in all walks of life, or you just don't know from looking at someone what they've gone through that day or that week or that month or their entire life. You've got to try. I think more people need to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and just kind of accept people for who and what they are. I'm going on and preaching now, but what I mean is, it's just, I think it is important just to let people know if there's something wrong, or if your day's not going great. But also, there's a lot to be said for just picking yourself up and getting on with it too. So I don't know, two sides to each coin. Everybody should meditate more. That's my advice.
Yeah, definitely, man. And no, with a message like that, I do think it is very important, because you've said that it's the kind of thing that you can turn it into a bit of not a benefit as such, but you can make the best of a bad situation. You spoke there about having like WWE tryouts. Obviously, right now you're at the top of the chain in two pretty big British promotions. What is the ambition for Justin Sysum? Where do you want to go from here?
Yeah, I really, really wish that we could get WOS back on the air.
Yeah.
I really would like to be an integral part of a new. I know it's not new in terms of the original world of sport, but WOS wrestling as it stands now, I'd love to just be a big part of that new thing starting and gaining some momentum. I'm pretty settled here in the UK. I've got no aspirations to kind of like go out to America at the moment. But obviously, if opportunities arise in art, then I can have a think about those. But at the moment, there's nothing on the horizon for me other than WOS. And of course, like I said, trying to break in a little bit into acting and definitely studying. And I've got a few projects where I'm behind the camera too that we're working on at the moment. So it's just a really cool industry that I like to be part of, for the long run. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. Sticking with NGW, doing all the Butlins holiday resorts, WOS if we can get it going, and then acting and stunts. Excellent,
man. I've only got a couple of questions left. One completely disregards you, so I'm sorry about that. Stepping out of Justin Sysum, the WOS champion, looking into the promotion, you don't exist in there for this question, just so you don't... You can pick one talent there who you think is going to be the next big thing in wrestling that's not Justin Sysum. Who are you choosing?
See, the trouble is a lot of those guys are big things right now. Like you got Rampage and Grado, and they're the guys that spring to mind as like the top names in the promotion. But if you're looking for someone who's going to be the next big thing, honestly, from talking with people that have watched the show, especially my nephews, they don't stop talking about one person, and that is Crater.
Yeah.
Always. And I know Crater's been around a fair bit, but same as myself, we just kind of sit there in the British scene and don't really go any further. WOS could be the opportunity for him especially to just break out and be huge. I think it needs a couple more seasons, but all the kids just ask about Crater over and over and over again, still now to this day. So yeah, it's like the most unique thing ever, and it brings a whole new meaning to the next big thing, because just the sizes. When you see him, it's like, man, I can't believe he's so athletic as well for being a big man. So definitely got to agree with you there. So you spoke about Grado there, Crater. Yeah. You've also wrestled people like Keith Lee, a lot of kind of bigger names as well. Like, not bigger names because Grado's a huge name, so is Crater. But you've wrestled people from around the world, not just in Britain. Yep.
One final question. Can't be anyone that you've wrestled already. You get the choice to wrestle anyone. Main event, Wembley. They say, right, Justin Sysum, you get to wrestle one person. You're defending the WOS Championship. Who are you picking?
They've got to be live.
No. Feel free to just run with it. It can be anyone at all.
Oh man, Shawn Michaels. Let's go, Shawn. I don't know why I even asked him to be alive, because he was on it for time. I haven't wrestled him. I've worked with Shawn Michaels on the Marine 6. I stunt doubled for the Miz on that. So I was on set with Shawn Michaels, and he was a super cool dude. And it would be cool. Like, you watch it, he'll walk around like he's had a hard time wrestling, and then the moment it was time to like go and do some fighting, he was like a teenager again. It was incredible. So the guy still moved. So him.
Amazing, man. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for speaking to me, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Thanks very much.